Okay, what we're going to focus on right now is we are going to focus on multiplying a binomial times a trinomial. And we are still using the distributive property, but what we have to do is we have to take this x and we have to multiply it by everything in the trinomial. Then we need to take this -2 and multiply it by everything in the trinomial. And the issue becomes that the algebra gets a little bit more intense and there's more opportunities for mistakes. So let's take this step by step. So I am distributing the x to my trinomial. So I'm going to say x times x squared. Then I am going to say x times -3x. And then I'm going to say x times 4. Okay? And so what I've just done is I have taken the x and I have multiplied it by everything in the trinomial. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the -2. So I'm going to say -2 times x squared. Then I have -2 times -3x. And then I have -2 times 4. Okay? Now we are going to multiply and then eventually simplify. So I have x times x squared. That gives me x to the third. Then I have minus 3x squared. And then I have plus 4x. For my next set of computations, I have -2x squared plus 6x minus 8. Now the last thing that I'm going to do is I am going to combine like terms. So I don't have anything to combine with the x to the third. So I have x to the third. Then I have minus 3x squared and -2x squared. So I am going to have -5x squared. I'm going to go ahead and mark those out just because it's easier for us to keep up with. Then I have 4x plus 6x, and that's going to give me 10x. And then I have -8. Okay? So a binomial times a trinomial is, we follow the same process that we've been following. We just have to distribute a few more times. Okay? So let's try another one. So here what I have is 3x, and I'm going to multiply that times x squared, xy, and -y squared. And then I have -2y, and I'm going to multiply that times x squared, xy, and -y squared. So here we go. I have 3x times x squared. Then I have 3x times xy. And then I have 3x times -y squared. Okay, now I'm going to multiply -2y times everything. So I'm going to have -2y times x squared. Then I have -2y times xy. And then I have, and I'm going to have to write this down here, then I have -2y times -y squared. Okay, and I always write too big, so sorry about that. Okay, so let's do the multiplication now. So I have 3x times x squared. That gives me 3x to the third. Then I have 3x times xy. So that is going to give me 3x squared times y. Then I have 3x times -1y squared. So I am going to multiply the 3 and the -1. That's going to give me -3xy squared. Okay, now we're going to go to the blue, which is our second part. I have -2y times 1x squared. So I'm going to deal with the negatives and the positive ones. So then I have -x squared y. Then I have -2 times +1. That's -2y times +1xy. So I'm going to have -2 xy squared. And then the last one, I have -2 and -1, so that's going to give me +2, and I'm going to have +2y to the third. Now I'm still going to combine like terms. 3x to the third, I have nothing that I can combine that with. Okay, then I have 3x squared y, and I have -2x squared y. Now pay special attention. I have to have the same exponents raised to the same exact exponents. So I've got the same variables raised to the same exact exponents. Okay, and I have that here, so I just add the coefficients. So I have +3 and -2. So that's going to be +1x squared y. I don't have to write the 1, but I can. Okay, and then I have -3xy squared and -2xy squared. And that is going to give me -5xy squared. I'm going to mark those out, and then I'm left with +2y to the third. Now I just want to comment right here. Do you see these two? I want you to notice that my x is raised to the second power and my y is raised to the first power on this one. But on my second one, I've got -5. My x is raised to the first power and my y is raised to the second power. So these two terms right here are not like terms, because the variables, even though it's the same two variables, they are not raised to the same exponent. So I have 3x to the third plus x squared y minus 5xy squared plus 2y to the third. Okay, and that is my final answer. Now, I apologize that I am not in class today. There's been an emergency with my daughter, and I am currently sitting at a Chick-fil-A on the way to UAH to take my daughter to the emergency room. So I apologize that we are not going to be in class today. Here's your classwork. What I would encourage you to do is take a screenshot of this or pause the recording and write this down. In a couple of hours, I will post the solutions to this, and this will help you to practice everything that we are doing in class. And I want you to come to class on Monday, ready to start factoring. Next week will be an intense week of factoring and practice on that. Email me if you have any questions. And again, I'm sorry that class was canceled today, but I've got to go take care of my daughter. So I will talk to you soon. Have a good weekend.